Hey, this is Mr. Aiden. We are still in Unit 6, and we're going to be going to integration of trigonomic functions as well as some other functions. And so we're going to take a look at the reverse power rule for these functions. And so we know that the derivative of sine is cosine, which means the integral of cosine is sine plus c. So you can see how we have the integral of cosine of x is sine of x because we know the derivative there. Same thing with the derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x, which means the integral of sine of x is negative cosine of x. Now, we know the derivative of tangent is secant squared, which means it's the exact other way of the integral of secant squared of x is d of x is tangent of x plus c. We know cotangent is negative cosecant, and we know secant is secant tangent, and we know cosecant is negative cosecant cotangent. So if you know your derivatives for these trig functions, then you will know the integrals of those trig functions as well. In the same way, you'll also know the integral of exponential functions. We know that e to the x, the derivative of e to the x is e to the x, which means the integral of e to the x dx is e to the x, of course. And we know this a to the x divided by natural log of a is a to the x because that is my exponential function. And of course, we can have a reverse power for x to the negative 1. Why? Because we can't raise this up to x to the 0 power and then divide by 0. And so what do we know is the integral of 1 over x, or x to the negative 1, is natural log of the absolute value of x plus c. We also know, if you remember your arcsine and arctangent, we had some of these functions. Then therefore we can know that the inverse, these integrals of the inverse trig functions would be arcsine and arctan. And so remember what I said about knowing your arcsine, your derivatives of arcsine, arccosine, arctan, is being able to recognize these. In the same way, being able to recognize the integral here is very important. So let's get to a few examples here. We're going to try to integrate 3 over x, and that's 3x to the negative 1 plus 2e to the x. Well, that's going to be 3 natural log of x plus 2e to the x plus c. And think about the derivative here. What's the derivative of 3 natural log of x? Would be 3 over x. What would be 2e to the x? Would be 2e to the x. What about when we have negative sine of x dx, the integral of this? What's the integral of sine is negative cosine. So that would be 2 cosine of x plus c. And think about the derivative here. What's the derivative of cosine of x? Would be negative sine of x. And so there's 2 really good examples of our integration of trig and other functions. Have a good day, guys. See ya.